Assalamu alaikum everyone, what's up? Welcome back to another tea talk. Today I want to talk about being afraid to wear the hijab. Now I think this is a very important topic, especially for Muslims that live in the West like I do. We don't live in Muslim countries, we're not the norm, and so when we put on the hijab, it becomes that much more obvious that we're different. As humans, we have an innate need to belong, and that can be very tough, especially when you live in a society that either does not understand Muslims or doesn't like Muslim. And so when you're starting to think about wearing the hijab, it's very natural to be concerned about what the society you live in is going to think about you. You know, what your friends are going to think, or what your teachers are going to think, or future job prospects, and even future husband prospects, because let's not hide the fact that some Muslims out there don't actually like the hijab. Or if you're a convert and you're not, you know, that well integrated into the Muslim community, and so the whole issue of like marriage and things like that is a big concern. And let's also talk about the public and just being in public in general and the stares you get and things like that, because, you know, let's be real here, you look very, very different, and people know what this means, the hijab, and that you're associated with Islam and things like that. And a lot of people have all sorts of opinions over that. Especially doing it for the first time, it can be quite daunting. So yeah, let's just put it all out there. Before we get into all of that though, let me make my tea, so you go ahead and get your drink as well, get yourself a snack, and let's go ahead and chat. I'm having the Twinings chamomile, honey, and vanilla. I love this tea so much. It's so soothing and it smells incredible. I don't know if you guys can see my mug here as well and what it says. It actually says, "I don't want your drama," and there's like a llama there as well. I just thought it was like perfect for this video. Alright, so first off, let's address the fact that when you first start wearing the hijab, you're going to look completely different to what you looked like before. And because you have this like drastic change in your appearance, people are also going to associate that with like you being drastically different. And so because people think you've changed so much all of a sudden, they might tend to, you know, treat you differently. And I honestly think the best thing you can do in this situation is to just be yourself. Honestly, it sounds really, really cliche, but like, just be yourself and just give them some time, because people do need time to adjust, and hopefully they'll be able to see that you're still the same person. The only difference is the values and beliefs that you already had inside of you, you've now chosen to show it on the outside as well in the form of this symbol. The thing is, the hijab is a very, very misunderstood thing, and a lot of the times when people don't understand the hijab, and I'm guilty of this as well, like they make comparisons with hijabis and nuns, because people don't understand the structure or where nuns are in the Catholic community, in that it's more or less their livelihood, and you kind of have to meet certain requirements and be a candidate and everything else that goes in to qualify you to be a nun, and you do need to be qualified to be a nun. Whereas in the Muslim community, the hijab is something that is encouraged upon everyone. We don't have that kind of system where you need to be qualified in order to wear the hijab or be modest or anything like that. It's just everyday women doing their best and trying to follow God's commandment, which by the way is the same commandment as what the nuns are following. I just want to put that out there, because that aspect, believe it or not, the covering of the hair and the modest clothing, that's in every single Abrahamic religion, whether that be in the Torah, in the Bible, or in the Quran. It's in all of them. So of course I do see why people make that comparison, but I do still think that it's counterproductive, because then people expect people that wear the hijab to be at the same level of, you know, qualification and, you know, piousness and all that kind of stuff. And of course I'm not saying we're less pious, that's not what I'm saying at all. This is very hard to explain without getting in trouble, but what I'm saying is our structure with the whole modesty and covering your hair as a sign of worship and things like that, it's less formal in our religion of Islam. But because people make that comparison with nuns, people think that when you start wearing the hijab, you're all of a sudden this super duper religious, super duper pious, that never says a bad word or anything like that type of person. You know what I mean? And hell, maybe it is, and if that's the case, that's also a good thing. You know, if you're more religious and more pious and things like that, that's an amazing thing, especially from a religious perspective. But I would argue that for a lot of us, that's not really the case. It's us starting to make the effort to become more religious and become more aware of our actions and how they relate to our religion. Like, nobody changes overnight just because you wear something that makes you look different. And honestly, the best advice that I can give to anyone that is deciding to do anything is to be sure to reflect on your actions and, know about what you're doing and why you're doing it, so that when, people question your decision and, are trying to understand what you're trying to do or trying to criticize what you're doing, you have like a solid understanding of your own actions and of your own intentions, so that you won't look ignorant when they ask you why you did it. One of the biggest misconceptions about the hijab is that we wear the hijab for men, so that men won't look at us, won't lust for us, and it won't cause them to sin. That is the biggest load of bullshit, because that's not the reason why we wear it. The hijab has a lot of benefits, but those benefits are not the reason why we wear it. Why we wear it is solely because our God asked us to wear it. Period. Like, that's it. Yes, there's logic, yes, there's reasonings, and there are benefits to wearing that and following God's commandment, but at the end of the day, those, benefits and logic and all that kind of stuff, those aren't the reason why we do it. Why we do it is because our God in our religion asked us to do it. Because that's going to be the most asked question that you're going to get once you decide to put the hijab on. Like, people are going to come up to you and they're going to ask you, why do Muslim women wear the hijab? And yeah, the most truthful and most simple answer is because our God asked us to. It's part of our religion, and I've actually gone past the point of like feeling like I need to justify like why and like convince them and make them understand why it's logical or why it's beneficial or anything like that, because at the end of the day they're asking for like why are you doing it? And the like most simple and most truthful answer is because our God asked us to. It's part of our religion. What you guys also need to understand is that you can try as hard as you can to make someone understand your decision. But at the end of the day, if that person is not interested in understanding and have completely already made up their mind about your decision and your religion and all that kind of stuff without even, knowing anything about it, then it's honestly a waste of time. It's like talking to a brick wall, and there are so many more productive things you can do besides talking to someone that don't want to listen. Some people are convinced in their thoughts about Muslims and Islam and all that kind of stuff, and no amount of truth or no amount of research and news articles and like blatant truth is going to change that person's mind. But in the topic of having to justify your actions and talking to a brick wall and facing people that, just are committed to not liking you, let's talk about, the struggle of wearing the hijab for the first time and struggling to gain acceptance among your friends. And this goes beyond like high school and things like that. It's so funny because every time the whole topic of acceptance and friendships and if my friends are gonna like me or not and stuff like that, people always think that we're still talking about high school kids or, people in their adolescence or early adulthood and things like that. But we face this sort of problem in, our entire life. It's not just kids trying to like fit in or whatever. This is a problem that we as humans have like throughout our entire lifespan, because we are social creatures and we want to feel like we belong in a community and that we're accepted by our peers. But I'm going to tell you something that might be hard to hear, and it's that the road to righteousnness is a very lonely path. People tend to forget that this dunya is actually a test and it isn't meant to be easy. Of course, it's, 10 times more bearable if it is easy, but that's not always the case. And, along our entire life, we are gonna face hardship. The popular thing or the trending thing or the thing that everyone believes in is not always the right thing. And going against that grain is always going to be very, very difficult. It might not seem like it now because everything looks hard, everything is a struggle, and it feels very, very painful. But the people that you lose, or these so-called friends that you lose during this journey, this is a mercy. It's a mercy because their true colors have been revealed to you, No friend will drop you like a sack of potatoes as soon as you do something that they personally don't approve of or don't like. It's so funny because you always find people preaching everyone is different, everyone has the right to be unique and follow what's in their heart and things like that. But as soon as it is something that is not in the norm of that particular person, it's all of a sudden bad and they'll end your friendship right then and there. So what does that tell you? It tells you that these people are just, talking out of their ass. They're just saying the trending ideology of accepting everyone and giving everyone the right to wear what they want and choose how to, do their life or whatever, or live their life, I should say. But as soon as it's something that's too different or too foreign for them, they're just like,
no, honey, no.
And you don't need nor deserve people like that, and that is why it's a mercy that those people are out of your life or are going out of your life, because now you can move on and have a proper support system with genuine people who genuinely want the best for you and have that mutual respect, in that even though they don't practice or agree with the same things that you believe in and the things that you do, they still have that mutual respect and that you are in your right or within your rights to believe and to practice that. Is that making any sense to you guys? Because my English is so bad right now. I don't know why. But like, for example, I have a lot of atheist friends. They don't believe in a religion, and I believe in a religion and I converted to a religion. But we're still able to be friends. They're actually some of the best people I know and I consider them family. It's about having mutual respect and being mature enough to know that not everyone is going to, you know, believe in the same thing or agree in the same thing. Like, I'm telling you guys now, something is deeply wrong with people that can't accept the fact that there's another opinion out there. You know what I mean? Like, it just boils their blood too much that how dare you like have a different opinion than me. I don't know, man, it's weird. Okay, I think I dove into that like a little too much, in that I spent a lot of time talking about that, so I don't know how long this video is already. But really quickly, I just want to actually address the fear of putting on the hijab and being in a public setting, whether that be in university or at work. And I have a very simple stance on that whole thing, and it's that, you know, the more hijabis integrate with society and the more that people see that we're just, you know, regular people doing like regular everyday stuff, whether that be, you know, going to school, going to university, being at work. Look there's a hijabi doctor. Oh look, there's a policewoman wearing a hijab. Or look, there's a hijabi drinking tea. I drink tea too. That's something we have in common. It's just better for everyone. We might look different, we might wear different things, and we might speak different languages, but at the end of it all, like, we have a lot of similarities. Do you like Tupac? Because I like Tupac. Did you know that Ice Cube is a Muslim? So is Dave Chappelle and Shaquille O'Neal. But yeah, we're not so different on so many aspects, but at the same time, what makes you different shouldn't be something that you're ashamed of. Don't let the opinions of other people make you feel less valued for wanting to do something different. Don't give them that power, and obviously it's easier said than done, and I'm not saying it's easy whatsoever. On the contrary, it's very difficult. But having a purpose and standing up for what you believe in, even in the face of adversity, even if it's the unpopular decision or the unpopular choice, doing that, even though it's very difficult, it is also very rewarding. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and tell you that it's easy to wear the hijab or it's easy to confront people when you're in the face of discrimination and all that kind of stuff. That's not what I'm gonna do at all, and can I just say that I absolutely hate it when people say that it's easy. I get what they're trying to do in that they're trying to encourage you by saying like it's easy and things like that, but I do think that they go about it the wrong way, because then expectations are like distorted. And of course, let's take context into consideration here, because of course I can only speak for a Muslim that's living in the West in a non-Muslim society, and I can tell you that it is a struggle. It is a struggle, but it's a worthy one, and I would even go so far as to say that one of the beauties of the hijab is the fact that it's a struggle, but people still persevere in wearing it. To me, it's a very bold symbol of strength to be able to face adversity and still come out unchanged, confident in your beliefs and strong in your conviction, and I just think it is the most beautiful thing. And the thing is, the hijab and the struggle of wearing hijab is an act of worship, which makes it all the more beautiful. And I don't know, I just feel like people that say that it's easy and all that kind of stuff, like, they create this like false expectation and they take away from the struggle, and I just think it's unfair to say that or to describe it as that. And honestly, it confused the hell out of me when I first started wearing the hijab, because a lot of people were telling me that it's easy, just do it, just jump the gun and do it. And I feel like because I was unprepared and I was expecting something else, like of course I was expecting some form of struggle, but what I got in reality was completely different, and because I was unprepared, I struggled a whole lot more than I should have. And even with the whole struggle with the hijab, like that confused me even more, because this is something that I was told was meant to be easy, it was meant to be, you know, something I get used to so quickly, and that it's just putting a scarf scarf on your head and all that kind of stuff, but I was struggling with it. Like I felt inadequate, or I felt like something was wrong with me because I'm struggling with something that was supposedly easy. But I feel like if we were open on the get-go in that, you know, it's not gonna be all sunshine and butterflies, and you're gonna have, you know, issues with self-esteem and vanity and all this kind of stuff, and acceptance within the Muslim community and outside of the Muslim community, and all the issues that come along with the hijab, with all of that taken like on board, you'll be more, you know, prepared, and that you'll have a more realistic expectation of what it's like to live as a hijabi Muslim woman. And of course I will acknowledge that it's a whole different ball game when you're actually, you know, in real life practicing it and seeing it firsthand when you face adversity or face challenges when you wear your beliefs on your sleeves, or should I say on your head. The key thing that goes above all this like realistic preparation and all that kind of stuff is the knowledge that you have about the hijab. When you know what you're doing and you believe wholeheartedly that what you're doing is the right thing, then it makes it that much harder for people to sway you out of your path. When you have that knowledge and you have that conviction, and then you're also well informed and have like realistic expectations of what to expect, then you're just better equipped, and inshallah it helps you from struggling as hard. Like you guys, I've been yelled at to my face solely because of my hijab, and I've faced discrimination in so many different places and in so many different situations. But the thing that you have to remember is that you're not doing anything wrong. I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm literally just wearing what I consciously chose to wear, and that's my right. I have the right to choose what I want to wear, right? But they're the ones that think that it's okay to yell at people, or that it's okay to discriminate people who are different from you. And that goes beyond hijab as well, right? It can be applied to so many things. Like, why should we change? Why should we be the ones to feel defeated? If we let their prejudice break our spirit, then they win, and they're gonna continue to do it to anyone that has a varying opinion from their own. Anyone with a different belief or a different opinion from theirs, they're just going to continue to attack them, and if we continue to back down, they're just going to keep on winning. You are stronger than you think, and you shouldn't let people's opinions keep you from doing something that you want to do or that you love doing. If there's anything that I want you to take away from this video, it is that, and the fact that you should not let the fear of being different hold you back. Alright, so I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I think I have blabbered on for long enough. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this video was quite long, but I hope that it did help. And if it did, please don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Also, leave me a comment down below if you guys want to suggest a topic that you want me to address, or an experience that you want me to shed some light on, or anything like that. You can also do that more privately by DMing me on Instagram or sending me an email. All my links are down below, so go ahead and check that out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys! You know, I can never actually reach the camera when I do that because I have like little baby T-Rex arms. But yeah, here we go. Bye guys!